Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday and welcome back. It's time for another edition of the Weekly Member Spotlight. I want to say a very big thank you to Mr. Jesse Brewer, who is here saving the day. We had a little scheduling snafu, and Jesse came to the rescue and volunteered to be here with very little to no notice. So thank you very much, Jesse.
You're welcome.
Thanks for crossing the river for this initiative.
Twice in a week. I gotta keep that checks and balance in line.
I know, right? Well, thank you again. You are on the board of directors with the GCKAA.
Yes.
You are the owner and principal broker at CAP Real Estate.
Yes.
And I've heard something new about you being an elected official. I'm not sure that's true or not, though. What's
it's
going
true
on with
that actually, yes, I did win an election in Boone County, Kentucky, where I live, and I am on a county commissioner over there.
No, congratulations. We all knew that and supported you, so that's great. But I wasn't exactly sure what position you were elected into, so that sounds like a pretty notable position to hold.
Depends on who you ask.
How'd you pull that off? I'm just kidding.
I convinced enough people to check the name in the box and got lucky.
Well, congratulations. So what does that entail? What do you do as the county commissioner?
We run the entire financial being of Boone County, which is the third highest revenue producing county in the state. So any ordinances, zone changes, property tax rates, department budgets, all come through our four-person elected body.
How did you get interested in being a politician?
I'm not a politician.
Not a politician? An
No.
elected official is different than a politician?
Yeah, absolutely. I had an interest in that for quite a while. You know, I own a business. I always feel like business owner mentality should be a part of the legislative process, just to help streamline things, to understand, you know, what's going on with business owner issues, economic issues, things like that. You know, what it's like to have to meet a budget, what it's like to have to meet a deadline in your everyday day to life, even if you have the power of the taxpayer dollar behind you.
So what made you interested in getting into not politics, but the elected official business?
It's something I always had an interest in, you know, public service. You know, before getting into real estate and property management, I was a police officer. Before that, I was in the military. So public service and community service is always something that's been ingrained in me. So it was a way that I could do both, in essence. I couldn't be a full-time police officer and run a business like I do. Can't be in the military and run a business like I do, but being able to be involved in county government is a way I can be involved and give back and still able to run a business and provide for my family.
So I can honestly say I don't know anyone else who has been a police officer and kind of crossed the line into property management / real estate. How did that happen for you?
Well, $38,000 to $40,000 a year, night, weekends, and holidays wasn't appealing. I had my second child at the time. It was, missing a lot of evenings, second shifts. I've always had an interest in real estate, kind of grew up around it, so I'd always been buying my own rentals. And I kind of come to that point where a lot of folks doing that business, like, I either have to pass this off to somebody or I have to do it full time.
Right.
Because the balancing act just wasn't there. At the time, you know, lucky for me, the recession was hitting at the same time when I made the move, I was being sarcastic,
right?
By the way. But it did work out on the end.
It's so difficult to tell with you, so thanks.
It's okay. So I decided, you know what, just took the leap of faith and did it. So,
how long have you been in the real estate industry?
I've been a licensed real estate broker. I had to check. I think since 2005 or 6. I had to check when I got my license.
So about 15 years or so?
Yeah, long enough. I'm a veteran, they say, right? I'm a
right,
veteran, I guess.
Right. Well, being a veteran and having such a unique experience, what advice would you give to the next generation of professionals?
You know, you can never educate yourself enough, but nothing teaches you like on-the-job training. You know, you have theory and you have practical. So you can go to all the training, which is important. You need to, but you really need to get a good on-the-job mentor. So you want to make sure you work for the right people that have been around that can actually show you in practical how things really happen and what you need to do. So finding that right person and right company to work for is more valuable than any formal training or education you can get.
And is it true that you had to start your own business because you couldn't work for anyone else?
There's been rumors of that, yeah. I'm a difficult person to be around sometimes.
Okay, so shifting gears just a little bit, how has your involvement with the GCKAA benefited you as a broker?
I've met a lot of people. When you work so hard, especially when you own your own business, you put yourself in a bubble, and you see things a certain way and you do things a certain way. And then when you're able to come and be around hundreds of other people that are in your industry and doing things differently and just talking to them and forming friendships and just getting different perspectives on different problems and things, it's invaluable.
So last year at the National Apartment Association Conference, I had the privilege of watching you win an award. Tell us about that.
I won the Independent Rental Owners, IRO, Affiliate of the Year award for over 250 units, which was, I think I said I was the first person not from Texas to win in a very long time.
Yeah, so that was a big deal.
That was a big deal.
It was at San Diego, right?
That was in San Diego.
What other professional designations or awards or affiliations with our organization are you involved in?
I participate in the legislative committee some. I don't do it too much like I used to, being an elected official, but I do help advise on a lot of legislative matters. I've been on a couple of the other committees here and there. And you keep asking me to do this committee.
I know, social media.
Only so many hours in a day, right? So I'm a licensed broker, a real estate broker. I've won a few other community awards here in that respect.
I guess you're pretty legit now, because I was driving to my office a few weeks ago and I look up and there's a giant billboard with Jesse Brewer's face on it. And I was like, what in the world is going on? Apparently there are more than one.
There's a few of those billboards floating around, but you gotta go out and find them. It's like a treasure hunt. I'm like a first person to find all four. Email me, maybe I'll give them a prize.
That's funny. Well, can we shift gears and get to know you a little bit more on a personal level?
Sure.
Well, tell us about your family.
So I am married. I have 4 kids, 3 boys and a girl. They range from 16 to 7. So I've got a second grader up to a junior in high school, so that's always fun.
Right.
Very big in youth sports, so it's always go. My oldest one is driving, and he'll be able to drive on his own here in a couple weeks. So I'm doing that.
Is he a good driver?
I don't think so, but they say I'm not a good driver either, so I guess so maybe.
Is that why you drive a really big car? If you're in the biggest car on the road, then
I do have a 7-seater vehicle. That's very well reinforced for that reason. Yes.
What do you like to do in your pastime?
I like to cook. I don't really have a lot of downtime, but I do like to cook. In this industry, as you well know, you have a lot of projects, and projects take a long time. When you're repositioning a property, when you're doing this, you're doing that. And so it's nice to be able to, it might take you a year, 2 years before it's finished and you see the completed results. So it's nice to be able to go into the kitchen and take something from nothing and see the finished product in an hour or 2.
Right.
It gives you a sense of like, oh, it did a complete, it's just nice to be able to have that, as opposed to what professionally, it's like it could be months and months and months before you see the results of a product being finished.
What's your favorite meal to prepare?
Anything with pasta sauce in it, because you put a little garlic, you put a little onion, and you're good to go. I make a really good baked spaghetti my kids like. I make baked lasagna. I got the salmon marinade. I like to make salmon, so I got to kind of bounce it around and change it up.
I'm the worst cook literally on the planet, and I made dinner last night, which is kind of a rarity through the week that I will make a good dinner, and my son's like, Mom, you're getting so much better. You didn't even overcook the chicken tonight. So I was counting that as a win. What's your favorite restaurant or food to eat out?
There's a little restaurant in Burlington up by where I live called Towsy House that I like a lot.
What kind of food?
I guess Americana. They got a good steak. They do a lot of special dishes, but that's probably one of my favorite restaurants.
Okay, so you have a pretty big household. Do y'all have pets?
We have a dog, Leo, and he is a pain in the rear.
What kind of dog?
It's called a Münsterländer. It's a German. It looked like a border collie. Thought it was a rescue. He was a rescue. My wife had to go to Wisconsin to get him.
Oh wow.
Yeah, her and her mom went up there to get him because I'm not going to go to Wisconsin
right.
to talk. But whatever
Is that a
they
puppy
did.
Or a grown?
He's puppy.
Yeah.
He's very puppy.
Yeah.
So he's 8 months now, but we've had him for about 5 months.
We should have had this conversation because I told Dave Locker back when we did his interview that we should have somebody bring in their pet and we can really make this an entertaining interview.
Well, he'd be all over the place, just sitting there. Who knows?
Are you a reader? And if so, what's one of the last books that you
read?
read?
I do read. I'm really big into the book audio thing now because it's kind of like just making best use of your time.
Yeah.
Last book I read was Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
Do you like the business genre?
I do, yeah, business or conspiracy theory. I love
Right.
conspiracy theory type
Do you
books.
listen to podcasts?
No,
No?
not as much as I should.
Yeah.
No, there's a couple good podcasts out
Yeah.
there. The Serial one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so
I did that one. That's good.
yeah, so I don't spend too much time with those.
So, I don't want to steal your thunder when we get down to the interesting detail,
Oh,
but
boy.
you are a published author as well. So I'm
Few
surprised
times.
you didn't mention your own book. Tell us about the books that you've written.
I wrote a series of books that are on Amazon called Tenants Uncommon. So basically, I took, we in this landlording world of ours, we think you see it all, right? So I started journalizing the stories, and like, oh, this is funny, this is funny, this is funny, and all of a sudden put together a book, and before you know it, there's a couple books out.
Listen, I know you're really busy, but I'm going to give you $1 million idea here. Like,
Uh-oh.
Someone needs to do a reality TV show. The books are a great
So
idea.
funny
but-
enough, you mentioned that. Back in 2011 or 10 or 11, we were filmed for a pilot for a reality
What?
show. There was a TV producer that used to be a news anchor here in Gady. His name George Chickarone. He produced a couple of shows on HBO. He was a client of ours, and they followed me around. They had the cameras all up and pitched us around, and we got pitched to all the major networks, had a couple interviews, but just never made the cut. But they filmed a full pilot episode.
I think you need to reignite that conversation. There's so many ridiculous stories. People wouldn't believe it unless they saw it.
Yeah, and they had a good ride-along day. They had a couple good ride-along days that they got to witness some things, and they really tried to get it happen, but the timing just didn't work out.
Well, I still think that's great. We're going to publish the link to your books when we do the post later for the people that might be interested in doing that, but I don't think we've had a published author here either, so
Oh boy.
interesting. So you mentioned that your kids are into sports. Do you follow sports? And if so,
Oh,
who's
yeah.
your team?
I mean, I live here, so, as far as football, unfortunately,
Right.
that's that. UK, I'm on the Kentucky side of the river, so it's
Right.
UK all the way. in my
Right.
house.
Hence
Although
the
my
blue
wife went to
today?
Ohio State,
Oh,
so it's UK and anybody that plays Ohio State for me.
there
just to
you
be
go.
honoring. That's a joke.
What about TV or movies? Do you watch much? And if so, what's a favorite?
So big streamer, right? We cut the cord on cable, so I'm a big streamer right now. Jack Ryan season 2 on Amazon Prime is about ready to come
Right.
out, so I'm kind of looking forward to that. My son and I, we're watching the QB1 Under the Lights show, which is the reality show that follows the high school quarterbacks. So we watch a lot of sports shows.
Mm-hmm.
I like the government conspiracy
Mhm.
type shows a
Right.
lot. But Jack Ryan season 2 is one that's queued up next for me to come out that I'm pretty excited about.
I think I'm the only person I know who has not yet cut the cord, and I'm doing my research right now because it's obscene. How
It's a
much
personal
I
decision
spend?
for every. It's
Yes.
a personal decision on everybody,
Right.
but it worked for ours.
And I don't even watch TV, which is the ridiculous thing. It's just I don't know, it's like a cord that needs to
get
be
it.
cut. All right, so here's a random question for you. If you were an animal, what would you be and why?
An elephant, because the elephants are very patient individuals,
Mhm.
and when you own a business and you have kids, and you got to learn to be very patient and
Right.
just wait for things. And elephants are one of the most patient animals around, so I kind of relate to the elephant.
There you go. So I know I've already asked you the interesting detail question. We'll come back to that in case you have anything else to share. But we did reach out to a few folks that you know from the industry and
Uh-oh.
ask them what they would say about you. But I would like to hear from you. How do you think people who know you from business would describe you?
Whew. I'm very direct and blunt, and sometimes it gets me in trouble. I'm a ready, fire, aim kind of guy.
Yeah.
Ready, aim, fire. I'm more like ready, fire, and then figure out. Oh, we did that. We started. Now we got to backtrack and figure out the how. So I'm
Right.
very much jump in and figure it out.
Right,
I don't get stuck in analysis paralysis very often.
right. Well, we were joking you were going to ask me that question and turn it around during the interview, but I remember when I joined the board, you are among the most vocal people on the board, which is refreshing because it's not as if you're always disagreeing, but you're challenging the norm and trying to make sure that people are thinking through 360 degrees, whatever it is that's going on,
Sometimes.
which is, some people might say direct or disruptive, but I think it's refreshing because no one wants to just go with the flow. You're not going to get, the best results that way. So I noticed that about you very quickly.
No one accused me of being quiet.
No, sir. That's not the case. Any other interesting details or anything about yourself that you'd like to share?
Oh, geez. I don't know. We could be here all day, right?
I know.
Nothing I can think of, no.
Well, we're gonna make a post a little bit later. You answered some of these questions, and like I said, we've got some feedback from some of the folks that know you from the business.
Well, what's the feedback? Or
Top secret, you get to see in real time with everyone else.
Oh,
so we'll
boy.
make a post later this afternoon. You've shared some great photos, so we're gonna post some collages of some different, I think they're politicians or other elected officials that you've met and some of the experiences that
Oh,
you've
boy.
had.
Okay.
Looks like you're testifying somewhere in one of the photos, so we'll share that later.
Oh, yeah, for the criminal damaging bill for in Kentucky, where we're
Right.
doing a criminal damaging bill for tenants, for apartment owners, which is a big property rights owner bill. It's something I'm very passionate about.
And I remember you had posted pictures about a former tenant like smearing feces on the wall and leaving their apartment trash.
That did happen.
Yeah.
That did happen. So then that'll be a big bill in Kentucky
Yeah.
for our industry, and hopefully it'll catch on regionally. I know
Right.
they attempted it in Ohio and
Yeah.
didn't go through, so hopefully we get it done again. So.
Well, good. Well, thank you for all you do for the association and for landlords and our rights. We appreciate it very much, and I deeply appreciate you saving the day. This time could have gone void had you not agreed to be here. So
That's what I'm here for.
thank
right?
you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Hope everyone has a really great weekend, and we'll see you back next week. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.